Imagine sitting in a classroom where whispers turn into laughter, where every step you take is watched, mocked, and judged. Now imagine the loudest bully in school standing up, crossing the line so far that he puts his hands around the teacher's throat in front of everyone. But what none of them knew, what no one could have guessed, was that their quiet, soft-spoken science teacher wasn't just an ordinary woman. Behind her calm eyes and gentle tone hid a past forged in fire, discipline, and military honor. And the moment that bully made his move, her truth would come crashing into his world, changing his life, and everyone else's, forever. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a story of discipline. It's a story of scars, courage, and redemption, one that will leave you questioning how much strength people silently carry. Mrs. Elena Torres had been at Westbrook High for only 3 months, but she was already a mystery to her students. She dressed simply, never raised her voice, and kept her classroom immaculate. She wasn't flashy, wasn't overly strict, just calm, almost too calm. And that calmness irritated Jason Miller, the loudest, most arrogant senior in the school. Jason wasn't just a bully. He was the kind of boy who thought the world bent for him. He had money, popularity, and a football scholarship lined up. But behind all of that was a cruel streak that enjoyed humiliating others, especially teachers who didn't push back. And Mrs. Torres, with her quiet patience, felt like an easy target. It started with whispers. Jason would mimic her soft voice when she turned her back. He'd roll his eyes dramatically when she explained formulas. His friends laughed, egging him on. Elena ignored it, believing discipline should come through example, not confrontation. But each ignored insult fueled Jason's ego further. Soon he was tossing paper balls across the lab, knocking over beakers, pretending to fall asleep in the middle of lessons. The class had stopped focusing on science. It had become a stage for Jason's mockery. One afternoon, when Elena was guiding students through an experiment on chemical reactions, Jason crossed the line. He spilled an entire flask on the floor deliberately, causing a loud crash. When she asked him calmly to clean it up, he smirked and said, "Why don't you make me Miss Soldier?" The word soldier froze her. She had never told anyone about her past. No one at school knew she had served 12 years in the military, surviving tour overseas. She had hidden that part of her life, hoping to start fresh as a teacher, but Jason had somehow guessed, or maybe it was just a taunt. The class went silent, waiting. Elena's hands trembled slightly, but she forced a steady smile. "Jason, clean it up, now." Instead of obeying, Jason walked forward, puffing his chest, and in one shocking moment, he wrapped his hand around her throat. Gasps erupted, chairs scraped back. No one moved, they just watched in disbelief. Jason sneered, "What are you gonna do now, huh?" Still calm, still quiet. For a second, it looked as if Elena would crumble. Her eyes flickered with something unspoken, pain, memories, ghosts of battles she never wanted to relive. But then, something shifted. Her stance changed, her breathing steadied, and in less than 3 seconds, Jason was pinned to the lab table, his arm twisted harmlessly but firmly behind his back, his face pressed down, unable to move. The entire class sat frozen, staring at the quiet woman who had just taken down the school's most feared bully without breaking a sweat. "Class dismissed," Elena said calmly, her voice low but commanding. "Now." No one argued. Jason lay there stunned, his pride more broken than his body, and for the first time in his life, he realized he wasn't the strongest person in the room. Word spread like wildfire. By the next morning, the whole school knew what had happened in the science lab. Students whispered in awe, teachers looked at Elena with new respect, and Jason avoided eye contact with anyone. But the story didn't end there. That afternoon, the principal called Elena and Jason's parents into the office. Jason expected her to be fired. After all, she had put her hands on a student. He smirked through the meeting, already imagining her packing her things. But Elena didn't defend herself with excuses. Instead, she stood tall, shoulders squared, and revealed the truth she had kept hidden. She told them she was a decorated veteran. She had served in combat zones, trained soldiers, and dedicated her life to protecting others. She hadn't wanted to use that side of herself in a classroom, but when Jason attacked her, her training took over. She acted to protect herself and keep her students safe. The room fell silent. Jason's parents shifted uncomfortably. The principal leaned back, stunned, and Jason's smirk faded completely. "You think strength is about intimidation," Elena said, turning to him directly. "But real strength is about control, about discipline, about protecting, not hurting. You put your hands on me because you thought you were untouchable. But the truth is, you're still a boy who doesn't understand what it means to respect others." For the first time, Jason had no comeback. The principal gave Elena his full support, and Jason was suspended from the football team. Colleges began to hear about the incident, and his untouchable future started to crack. But something else cracked too, his arrogance. Over the next few weeks, Jason began to sit quietly in class. He didn't mock her, didn't disrupt. And one day after school he lingered behind. His voice was lower, different. "I'm sorry," he muttered. "I thought being feared meant being strong, but you showed me I was wrong." Elena didn't smile, she just nodded. "Apologies are a start. Actions matter more. Decide who you want to be, Jason, because the world doesn't need more bullies, it needs more protectors." That night, Jason went home and stared at his football trophies. For the first time, he wondered what kind of man he truly wanted to become. And though Elena never bragged about it, never reminded the class of what she had done, everyone knew the quiet teacher wasn't weak. She was the strongest person they had ever met. In life, strength isn't about the loudest voice or the harshest fist. It's about calmness, discipline, and the courage to stand for what is right. Some battles are fought in silence, and some warriors carry their scars quietly. But when the time comes, they remind the world who they really are.